Imagine this scene at the boarding gate. Your familiar carry-on gets measured, the agent frowns, and within moments your bag is gate-checked as you scramble, starting your trip with stress instead of a smooth takeoff. This will be the reality for thousands in 2026 as TSA enforcement tightens and airlines meticulously measure every inch, with new rules already changing how you pack. Missing just one detail can cost you your bag, your time, or hundreds in surprise fees, so before your next flight, pay close attention. These 7 carry-on rules will determine whether you breeze through security or are stopped cold at the gate. Welcome to a look behind the curtain, where we uncover what airlines often don't highlight. U.S. airlines collected $7.27 billion in baggage fees in 2024, with American Airlines earning $1.5 billion, United $1.34 billion, and Delta $1.16 billion. Today we're revealing 7 little-known carry-on policies and exactly how airlines profit from passenger confusion. These aren't opinions but documented, seldom advertised rules. Let's start with rule number 1, carry-on size limits, where measurements include every part of your bag, which is what most airlines now strictly enforce. The standard carry-on dimensions permitted by most major U.S. airlines are 22 by 14 by 9 inches, 56 by 36 by 23 centimeters, but the essential, often unstated rule is that every single component is included in this measurement. This means the handles, wheels, and any external pockets are factored in. If any part extends beyond the outline, it is counted. In practical terms, over half of the carry-on bags sold today are marginally too large, so the luggage you've relied on for ages may fail the stricter checks coming in 2026. You should measure your bag at home right now, accounting for all protruding elements like wheels and handles. Being over by even half an inch can lead to a mandatory gate check and a fee ranging from $35 to $100. The best approach is to use a basic tape measure before your trip. If your bag is non-compliant, replace it in advance rather than facing costly consequences at the airport, because adhering to the rules is more important than sentiment toward an old suitcase. This leads to the second crucial rule, the strict enforcement of carry-on weight limits, a significant recent shift where most carriers now impose a limit of 17 to 22 pounds, roughly 8 to 10 kilograms. What has changed is that airlines are no longer relying on passenger honesty. Automated scales at self-check-in kiosks now weigh your carry-on as you print your boarding pass, flagging any overweight bag instantly. Some carriers are taking additional measures by placing scales directly at the gate, so after you've cleared security and are waiting to board, you might be called to weigh your bag publicly. If it's over the limit, you'll be forced to repack on the spot, pay an unexpected fee, or surrender it to be gate-checked. This focus on weight is a clear revenue strategy, as every extra pound impacts efficiency and creates another opportunity for charges. The smart solution is to buy an inexpensive luggage scale, weigh your bag at home, and if you're near the limit, wear your heaviest items like shoes and jackets to shift weight off the scale. Seasoned travelers follow a key principle. If you won't use an item at least 3 times, don't pack it, because efficient travel is about packing light and intelligently, not bringing every possible thing. This leads to the third rule catching many off guard. Your personal item, that second bag, must now fit entirely under the seat in front of you without any part protruding, adhering to the new official dimensions of 18 by 14 by 8 inches, 45 by 35 by 20 centimeters. This is the enforced size that corresponds to the actual under-seat space on a plane, but here's the complication. That space varies significantly between a small regional jet and a large international aircraft. However, the rule is uniform. If your bag doesn't fit the specified dimensions, it must be checked, no exceptions. The reason for this crackdown is that many passengers were effectively bringing 2 carry-ons by labeling one as a personal item, with agents seeing combinations like a purse plus a shopping bag or a backpack plus a laptop case. The smart approach is to use a soft-sided bag, as rigid ones are a risk, while flexible luggage can be compressed to fit into tighter spaces. Look for designs with efficient compartments that keep items organized without adding bulk. A key insider strategy is to always keep your irreplaceable items, like medication, passports, travel documents, expensive electronics, and laptops, in your personal item, not your overhead carry-on, because if the bins fill up and you're required to gate check your roller bag, your vital belongings will remain with you. This leads to the fourth rule, which impacts security more than packing but is critical for your journey, the Real ID requirement and its associated $45 fee. Starting February 1, 2026, travelers without a Real ID compliant license or identification will face a $45 charge from the TSA, making it essential to understand what Real ID entails. It's a state-issued driver's license or identification card marked with a small gold star in the corner, signifying it meets stricter federal security standards. If your ID lacks this star, you will have only two choices at the airport: obtain a Real ID or pay a $45 fee to utilize a service called TSA Confirm ID, which verifies your identity through a separate process for a 10-day validity period, costing both money and extra time in the security line. To avoid this, visit your state's DMV before the February 2026 deadline to apply for a Real ID, which typically costs $15 to $30 and requires documents like proof of identity, residency, and sometimes your social security number. Failing to do this will mean budgeting for longer waits and a $45 charge per person, a cost that multiplies quickly for a family. This leads directly to the fifth rule with absolutely no exceptions: smart luggage with integrated batteries. If your suitcase has built-in features like a charger or GPS tracker, you must follow one non-negotiable mandate: the battery must be removable. This rule, established by the FAA in 2018, is now being enforced with zero tolerance, meaning any bag with a non-removable battery is banned from all U.S. flights, whether carried on or checked. This comprehensive ban is due to the proven fire risk that lithium-ion batteries pose in aircraft cargo holds, incidents that have led to hazardous smoke and emergency evacuations. The common and costly mistake occurs when a traveler arrives at the airport with a high-tech suitcase, only to be instructed by a TSA agent or gate attendant to remove its battery, a task that's impossible if the battery is sealed inside. No exceptions are made, the bag will not be allowed on the plane. This leaves you with the difficult choice of either abandoning the suitcase at the airport or checking it as an empty shell, both of which are expensive lessons. A simple pre-travel test is crucial: attempt to remove the battery by hand. If you require any tools like a screwdriver, the bag is non-compliant and prohibited without question. Modern smart luggage now features clearly labeled, compliant designs. Look for terms like TSA-approved removable power system or airline-safe battery, with the best models allowing for battery release with a simple button press. This leads into the closely related sixth rule: stringent limits on lithium batteries in your electronics and power banks, which are facing new levels of scrutiny. For any device like a phone, tablet, or laptop, it must be able to power on when requested by a TSA officer. If it cannot, it is considered a security concern and will not be permitted through, meaning that device does not board. Power banks are an area of even greater focus, governed by their watt-hour rating, abbreviated WH. You can find this watt-hour, WH, number on the battery's label. As a general rule, batteries under 100 WH are permitted, those between 100 WH and 160 WH require specific airline approval before your flight, and anything over 160 WH is entirely prohibited from any flight. Most people never perform the simple calculation: multiply the voltage, V, listed on the label by the amp hours, Ah, to get the WH rating. For example, a common 20,000 mAh, or 20 Ah, power bank at 3.7 volts equals 74 WH, which is allowed. However, if you unknowingly carry a higher capacity battery, it will be confiscated publicly at security. On top of this, airlines are now limiting the total number of battery-powered devices in your carry-on, with typical caps between 15 and 20 items, a number that sounds generous until you count a phone, laptop, tablet, earbuds, smartwatch, camera, e-reader, power bank, and electric toothbrush. The tech-heavy traveler is most likely to be flagged. Savvy flyers adapt by charging all devices the night before, storing their power bank and cables at the very top of their bag for quick inspection, and even taking photos of each device's battery specifications to provide instant proof if questioned. rather than arguing at the checkpoint. In the evolving travel landscape of 2026, being able to power on your electronics is essential proof they are safe. If a device is dead, you shouldn't have packed it. This brings us to the final and often decisive rule: securing overhead bin space, where early boarding is the ultimate advantage. Here is the final point concerning the intense competition for overhead storage space, which has become the most contested area on a plane due to airlines adding more seats, tightening schedules, and operating at full capacity, leading to fewer available bins and increased passenger frustration. A key tactic is the expansion of priority boarding options, which subtly pressures economy travelers to pay extra fees simply to guarantee room for their luggage, while those with basic economy tickets board last and frequently find no space left, forcing them to watch as bins fill up row by row until their own bag is taken for gate checking, risking damage or delay. To counter this, board immediately when your group is called, avoid any last-minute delays. And ensure your personal item under the seat contains all critical items like your passport, laptop, medications, and valuables, so if your main carry-on must be checked, your essentials stay with you. Additionally, a clever, lesser-known strategy is to coordinate packing with a travel companion. The final strategic move is for travel companions to share one carry-on for the overhead bin while each uses their own personal item, effectively having your claim on the limited bin space and dramatically increasing the likelihood your shared, important bag stays on board. By 2026, overhead access is less a courtesy and more a prized advantage, secured quietly by the prepared traveler while others face disputes in the aisle. To recap the 7 rules reshaping air travel. First, carry-on dimensions are now strictly total, including every wheel and handle, with no exceptions without a fee. Second, weight limits are rigidly enforced with scales at check-in and gates. Third, your personal item must fit entirely under the seat without protruding. Fourth, a real ID is mandatory to avoid a $45 TSA charge. Fifth, any smart luggage battery must be removable by hand. Non-removable models are banned. Sixth, lithium batteries have stringent watt-hour limits you must know. And seventh, overhead bin space is purely first come, first served, making early boarding critical. These aren't minor adjustments but a complete overhaul of travel norms where every detail of size, weight, batteries, and ID is crucial. Ignore them and you risk losing your bag, time, or money before boarding. The essential truth is to measure and prepare your luggage now, not in a last-minute panic at the gate. To ensure a smooth journey, weigh your bag beforehand, confirm your real ID status, verify your smart luggage's removable battery, keep all electronics fully charged, and always check your specific airline's latest policies before each departure. Investing these few minutes in preparation can prevent hours of frustration and save hundreds in unexpected charges. If these guidelines were new to you, consider subscribing for notifications, as our mission is to reveal undisclosed airline practices so you can avoid unnecessary costs and gate delays. For official information, consult the complete carry-on rules on the TSA website at tsa.gov/travel, review individual airline baggage policies on their sites under Baggage Information, and track all industry fees via the Bureau of Transportation Statistics at bts.gov. Don't miss our complete carry-on checklist, which details every rule, solution, and money-saving tip. Find the link in the video description and pinned comment. We'd like to know, which of these 7 rules surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every response, and your experiences help fellow travelers avoid costly mistakes. Until next time, this is Fast Track Flyer. Know the rules to avoid the fees.